Welcome to MarcusG.tv. I'm Chef Marcus Guiliano. I'm a chef on a mission. Today's mission is business, food politics, food business. So just recently I read this article on how Tyson Meat is investing in a company called Beyond Meat. Jamie, you've heard of Beyond Meat, right?
Yes.
And we like that. We like their products.
We sure do.
They're sold through United Natural Foods. They are a meat alternative company. They make these chicken strips. They make all these really cool products. Well, guess what? They've caught Tyson Foods' attention. Now, just so you know, Tyson Foods is the largest beef and chicken producer in the country. They contract with over 7,000 farms to produce chicken and beef. They're actually McDonald's beef supplier, so the beef that's in McDonald's is supplied through Tyson. That nice fancy ad that you saw a couple years ago, McDonald's saying, oh, this is where our beef comes from, these clean pastures and this and that. It comes from Tyson feedlots. The cattle may start out on green pastures when it's in its small family farm or larger family farm, but then at that point it gets sold off and goes into a consolidated feedlot and gets finished. They didn't show you that part of it. They showed you the animal's first 9 months, a year of life. So, chicken giant Tyson buys a stake in startup company Beyond Meat. Now, I also understood that Bill Gates was an investor in Beyond Meat in the beginning. Beyond Meat came out of nowhere, and they were like all over the country. Really cool, neat product. So why is Tyson buying a stake in a non-animal-based protein food company and basically a vegan food company? I think even Tyson understands the impact of, let me rephrase this. Tyson understands the potential profits of a plant-based diet. So Beyond Meat sells protein that looks and feels and tastes and acts like chicken without the cluck, as a product packaging for its faux poultry reads. This was a good enough for poultry giant Tyson Foods Inc., which acquired 5% stake in the El Segundo-based vegan startup company. Now, 5% I guess isn't much. Because when I first heard this, I was like, oh my gosh, Tyson Foods getting involved in this. I guess it's time to stop supporting Beyond Meat. My big thing is, these companies come in and buy these smaller companies up, and it's great because they're able to get. Here's the upside of this: they're able to get distribution. They're able to get more distribution. They're able to get more stores. They're able to use their networks and be able to amp up production. But at the end of the day, the money still goes to that evil parent company. And you're still supporting that evil parent company. And in today's age, there's so many options of small independent companies to use. So for me, it's always been about finding that independent company and then using them until while they're truly independent. So my money goes to a real family, a real community, real employees, as opposed to some company that's mass producing. So what these companies do is they buy these companies up, these smaller companies, and they immediately switch where the product's made, how it's made. They might use the same exact recipe. They might use similar equipment, but now they're going to amp up production. So they're going from 100,000 cases a month to 1 million cases a month, and they can do this with a lot less manpower because they can automatize. They can put this on an automation. They can put it through basically a Henry Ford factory line, as opposed to a smaller company that has to have more hands-on employees. So the benefit is you're going to get this product out there, much more readily available. But the company now, the parent company now sees a huge profit because they can really cut corners on production. So for me, it's always been about avoiding them. But with only a 5% stake, this is interesting because there's just basically they're pumping capital into. Well, let's finish reading the article. For Beyond Meat, whose products are in 7,500 stores nationwide, the fresh capital would boost product development and distribution while still leaving it an independently, privately held company, according to the company's founder and chief executive, Ethan Brown. So that's interesting. that the company, it's such a small stake that Tyson, I guess, really is not going to have much say in it. And it's still going to be truly an independently run company, hopefully, and they're going to be able to get their product out there much more rapidly. So for me, this is a tricky one. Do I continue? And it's not that I support them on a regular basis, but I will, if somebody has their product, I will purchase it, especially for personal consumption if I'm out and about. I never have really bought this product for my house, for my kids, because I feel that there's other products around there that are more locally based here in the regional, in the New York tri-state area. For Tyson Foods to move a fast way into a rapidly growing alternative food segment, which could account for as much as a third of the worldwide protein consumption by mid-century and a market value of as much as $108 billion. Now, I think that's great that Tyson Food thinks, or the article thinks, or somebody's research thinks that a third of the world's protein is going to be plant-based by mid-century. I think that's a fantastic statistic. I think we're moving in the right direction. I think there's more awareness ever about a plant-based diet. And I think even people that eat meat have realized, well, gee, I need to cut back on meat and not eat nearly as much meat. And that there are these really fun alternative plant-based foods. My biggest problem going out to a restaurant is there's a lot of chefs who just don't understand or think that plant-based or vegan meals are a viable option or a viable section on their menu. And it's just so frustrating. I went out again the other day to eat with a friend. A friend invited me out to eat, to talk business. And I got to tell you, there was barely anything I could order at this restaurant. And it's like always an afterthought. Oh, well, the chef can throw you together some vegetables. The chef can put a little vegetable plate together for you and baked potato. I'm just like, really? In this day and age where vegan diets are more popular than ever, you still have decent restaurants that can't put together a vegetarian meal, a vegan meal? I think it's totally pathetic and a shame on these restaurants that just don't understand that this is a segment and this is the facts of your consumer base. If Tyson understands this, people, if Tyson understands that a third of the world's protein by the mid-century is going to be plant-based, then every restaurant across the country should be understanding that they have potential customers that they're losing every single day because they just overlook vegetables and it's not their fault 100%. It's society's fault. It's schooling, the training. We're going to chef school. I mean, I went years ago. I'm sure there's many more classes now in vegetarian food, but vegetarian food was a total afterthought. I was like, 1 out of 1,000 guests are going to want a vegetarian meal, so just make sure you know how to do something vegetarian, was basically what we were taught in school, which is just so archaic way of thinking. Of course, like I said, I went to school back in the 90s, early 90s for culinary, and I'm sure they've changed that today. Hopefully, at least some of the bigger schools have. But to change education is a big task, and to change society perception and society practice is even a bigger challenge. But while these people are switching to a vegan diet, they're out there and they need to eat. So that's a story with Beyond Meat. Beyond Meat, great products. Try them out if you see them in the store. I like a company called Field Roast. Right, Jamie? Those Field Roast products, the Field Roast burgers, the Field Roast sausages. They're a little pricey, but they're fantastic. Field Roast, F-I-E-L-D, roast, Field Roast. I'm Chef Marcus Guiliano. Thanks for watching. If you like my video, please hit like, subscribe to my channel, and definitely pass this on.